everyone. Please, can you confirm you can hear me? Can just react. All right, thank you very much. I welcome every one of us to another amazing session this evening. And as we wait for others to join, would proceed at this point. So before we go into the matter for the day, can we just have a few other prayer together? Heavenly Father, I bless you for this evening to be exalted in the name of Jesus. Thank you for another time to learn. So be exalted in the name of Jesus. And Lord, we commit tonight's session into your hands, that you take perfect control, that all that we'll be doing, that you grant us the comprehension to understand and even to apply these things. Thank you because you've answered our prayer. For in Jesus' mighty name have we prayed. Amen. All right, so I want to specially welcome every one of us again to another session of Unlock Your Creative Potential. And this has been on for a while. And for those of us that were in previous sessions, you can bear witness to the fact that it's always packed and there's always a whole lot to learn. So tonight is another time again. And what we'll be considering is the use of AI in creative design process. Ever since the evolution of artificial intelligence, different niche, different industries have been trying to see how it synchronizes with what they do, how they can apply it to their work and all those things. And tonight, this evening, we'll be looking at the prospects of AI in creative design process. And just for those that this might be your first time of joining us, or this is the first time of coming across our videos, this is Bezalel Design Academy. And Bezalel Design Academy is an institution that is committed to raising world-class designers and building men who can stand out in the creative industry. And we have different things that we do at Bezalel Design Academy. Aside the academy where we teach people, we equip them with the knowledge of graphics design. We also have campaigns, we have projects that we run. And just to mention a few of these things, we have TAIAC, which is turning addiction into a career. TAIAC is a campaign that is aimed at sensitizing youth and teenagers as to how they can make the best use of their devices instead of just scrolling and then just wasting time on their mobile phone, on their gadgets. They can, use this to learn skills and then earn a living from it. So we equip them with skills that they need to start and earning a living, and also to make the best use of their devices. And then we also have Digital Transform, which the full meaning is digital transformation. It's also a campaign that is geared towards secondary school students and basically young adults, and it's a place whereby we teach them about the evolution of digital tools, and also let them know how they can use these things and also master it at the early stage of their life. So we also have other things, so you can just do well to check us out at bezalelgroup.org. You can see the link from the design on the screen, so you can check out and you'll find a lot of amazing things. And tonight, we have a special guest who is also the founder and director of Bezalel Design Academy, and he would be taking us through what we have, which is the use of AI in creative design process. So whether you're following live or you are watching the recorded session on YouTube, I would want to implore that you get your writing materials and you get ready to jot some things down. So just before we go into the session for this evening, so I want us to take an icebreaker, and you can just do well to drop your answer in the chat section. And if you are watching on YouTube as well, you can do well to leave it as a comment. And the question is artificial intelligence a threat or an opportunity? There's this way that there has been a recent trend as to, okay, let me just get our answers first. Can just drop it in the chat section. All right. So while I wait for that, there's been this ideation as to how that AI is here to take people's job. AI is here to make people jobless. AI is here to, do this, do that. But all in all these things, do we actually think AI is a threat or an opportunity? Do we think it's here to take our job or it's here to make our work easier? So as a creative designer, as someone who is looking forward to thriving in the creative industry, these and other things are part of the things you will be learning in the session tonight. Right? Thank you very much, Stephen. Said it's an opportunity. Okay, that's a great one. So these and some other things are the things that you'll be learning in this session. So whether I see it as a threat or as an opportunity, by the end of this session, you would know which one is it. And then we also have a second one, and it is that if you could give an AI a creative superpower to solve your biggest design headache, what would it be? So as a creative designer, I know there will be certain things that you've had and you want that, okay, can I automate this thing? Can, something just do these things for me? So let's think you can give AI that superpower to solve that your biggest design headache. So what would that be? You can just do well to leave it in the chat section as well, and the comments as well. So, all right. So, without further ado, I would want us to go to the main session for tonight. And like I said, the speaker for tonight is a man who is committed to, dishing out knowledgeable and, things that would help you grow and become the best as what you do. And is also the founder and the director at Bezalel Design Academy. So with a clapping ovation, can we welcome Mr. Aanulowa Oyewole as comes up for his presentation?
Good evening, my family. Thank you so much. Welcome, Mr. James. Thank you for a good job that you are always doing. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us again at Bezalel Design Academy today. It's always a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you again. So, tonight we have before us a very interesting and trending topic, using artificial intelligence in the creative design process. So, in one of the icebreakers, it was asked, is AI an opportunity or a threat? For me, I would just say both. Why am I saying both? First, if you are not using AI, then AI becomes a threat to you. We see how people who keep arguing whether AI is going to take their job or not, instead of spending that time to learn how to use AI. So, if probably you are there also arguing, is AI going to take my job? Is it not going to take my job? That means AI is already a threat to you. But on this call this evening, or you've made attempt to learn how artificial intelligence works, then trust me, AI is going to be an opportunity for you. If you've been part of our training sessions, if you're watching these, if you have learned somewhere else how artificial intelligence works, then opportunity for you. So if you're on this call today, or you will probably be watching later, then I have a good news for you. First, let me say congratulations that you are here. So AI is no longer a to you. And for you to leverage this opportunity, you have to learn. And I believe that's why you've joined this call. If there are people within your environment who you know very well that to them AI is a threat because they are not preparing, they are not ready to leverage artificial intelligence, please send the link to this meeting, send it to them, let them join, let them transit from having artificial intelligence as a threat to being an opportunity to them. So this evening we do not have the regular workshop per se. In between, we would have some practical hands-on sessions. So it is a workshop. I so much believe that we are happy to hear that. So just because of that, we do not have a slide. We'll just run very fast. So the first thing I want us to know is that artificial intelligence is not replacing creativity. What artificial intelligence is simply doing is redefining how we create. Artificial intelligence is simply redefining how we create. So it is not replacing creativity. And on a personal note, I believe that very strongly, and I so much argue it, that creativity, it is who you are. It is not, it does not have anything to do with the tool. It is just your heaven creation. It is your God makeup. So everybody who God created, they are all creative. Because God said He created us man and woman in His own image, and our God is the master creator. So everybody God created is creative, right? So we are all creative beings. So artificial intelligence is not going to replace any of us, but is evolving how we do things. Before, we cannot have an online meeting like we're having now. Before, we have to gather. I mean, and for you to even get informed that there's going to be a meeting, we'll probably have to post a letter months ahead before you get it. You prepare, you confirm that you will be present, and on like that. But today, thanks to technology, we can now host meetings virtually. An evolution when it comes to meeting. Also in design, there's an evolution. So AI is retweaking every now and then how we do things, how we design, how we generate concepts, how we research. It keeps changing the approach every now and then. So let's take a minute to even ask ourselves what artificial intelligence is. So what is AI? What exactly do we know artificial intelligence as or to be? First, I want to let us know that artificial intelligence has always existed before this trend. It has always been before this trend. You know, there's always a time where um, musicians or artists they are not in the know, they are in the dark. And then there's a time where everybody seems to know them. Then we say, what it blow, you know. So it's just the same thing for artificial intelligence. How has it been before? And when I say it has been, it has always been, I'm sure someone is arguing already that, guy, what do you mean? So before you crucify me, take chill pill, sip cold water. All right, so let's go. Artificial intelligence has been before, but traditionally, it has been in operation based on programmed rules. So what they program a particular app to do is just what it does. So if you visit the hospital and you say you want to check your sugar level, they would have to use a pin to puncture, get your blood, and then the machine is going to read your blood, examine your blood, and provide a particular response. It will interest you that if we do the same, follow that same process, and then we pour water on that machine, it's not going to give us that result. And the answer is simple. It's just because it has not been programmed to respond to water. Or maybe we should use palm oil. After all, they have similar color. Blood is red, palm oil too is red. Another example is automated doors. Doors have been automated to open inward, will never open outward, except they malfunction. So it is only the way they program. Another example is even games that we used to have on Nokia phones, Snake Sexer, and the likes back in the days. So the snake, when the snake eats itself and head to the tail, is going to say game over, right? We are familiar with that. But then what happens when it goes out of the scene? It comes back again. So it's just how it has been programmed. It cannot generate anything new. So artificial intelligence in the traditional way, which we can say traditional AI, is limited to how it has been programmed. It only operates within set of rules. It does not have the generative power. So it only does what it has been programmed to do. And the second one, which we have and everybody is in the rage for today, is the generative AI. So generative AI, from the word generation, we understand that it can create something new. So generative AI can create something new. Instead of working based on programmed rules, it works based on programmed information, preloaded data, pre-established information. So generative AI now works based on vast knowledge. Scouts everywhere, scouts here and there, and then it provides a result. So you can now ask ChatGPT and say, ChatGPT, explain this concept. ChatGPT provides similar companies that do this for brand competitor analysis. And then generative AI will go across the globe, search for information relating to that particular brand, and then it provides a response for you. So I hope we understand the difference between traditional AI and generative AI now. So I would like to also mention that using AI starts with knowing what you want to do. Using artificial intelligence starts with knowing what you do. And that is why AI is a threat to anyone who is not leveraging it, who is not learning how to use artificial intelligence. Anyone who is that person. So please say to your neighbor in the chat, in the comment section, is AI a threat to you or an opportunity? Let's do that real quick. Is AI a threat to you or an opportunity? I'm waiting to read our comments. I'm waiting. So while we are doing that, I must also mention and carefully highlight that artificial intelligence is your assistant. It is your assistant. Do not outsource your brain. So that means that AI cannot do a particular task for you, so or should not. Artificial intelligence should not do a particular task for you as garbage in, garbage out. Just type, I have an assignment from school. What is 2 plus 2? And whatever AI gives you as response, you copy, you paste, you print, and you submit. That is you outsourcing your brain. So artificial intelligence is your assistant. How do you make it your assistant? You would have to go over every detail of the response it provided. Once you go over it, you would have to contextualize it. Contextualizing means you have to make it relatable to that niche. You would have to narrow it down to what you want. It's just like someone copying from another person in the exam hall and still copy the person's name. I mean, what do we say about that person? So you have to know what you want to do. You have to know that this one is the guy's name, is not an answer. So you leave his name. You don't copy the name. Right. Another thing you must also do is you need to rephrase or in fact deal with artificial intelligence with great ethical conduct. So whatever response you have from any of these artificial intelligence tools must follow human ethics, please. That's very important and must resonate with human emotion. So let's go over what I call prompt engineering quickly so that would guide our next interaction. I believe we can all see my screen. So we have prompt guide from Bezalel Design Academy. And what are we saying? For every prompt must contain these things, 5. The first is task. What do you want to do? The second thing is give the artificial intelligence a character. Who do you want to respond to you? Yes, it is AI, but who do you want? What type of response are you expecting? So give AI a character, and also format. How do you want the response? Context, provide background details that would influence the response, like who is it for, where do you need it. If you're carrying out a research, the kind of response you will need for a journal is not the same as you would need for a PhD thesis. So you have to provide context to it. Or if you are working on a design, uh, a brand identity design, and they also work in motion design, you would not need the same response. So you have to give context to it. The next is reference. You can upload a sample and say, picking inspiration from this sample, provide your own response, or use this example as a model or as a style guide. And then we have these examples. The task: write a promotional email for a new product launch. Sorry, let me rephrase that. So let's have it as an experienced digital marketer, write a promotional email for a product launch. Provide your response in 350 words using with a call to action at the end. The brand is launching a sustainable water bottle uh, brand. So we are seeking to reach out to eco-conscious millennials, blah, 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 blah. Then reference, if there's any reference, we upload. If it has to be text, then we say your email should be similar to, the style should be similar to Apple product launch announcements. You get. So that is that on prompt guide. I strongly believe that we'll understand this. Let's take another example. Create a lesson plan for high school students as an experienced history teacher. In fact, I go further to give years of experience. So I could say, as an experienced history teacher with over 10 years experience and international awards. So already I'm defining a character that if you do not have an international engagement, or you've not even been acknowledged for a good job done, you are not excellent, please do not respond. You get it? So after creating that character, which is the persona, then I could say create a lesson plan, and the format, provide a lesson plan in bullet outline and on, and then provide it in Microsoft Word or any of that. So that is that on prompt guide. So let's go further uh, in our discussion. So we are talking about design process. Design process. What is a creative design process? How do you do things as a creative, or how are you expected to do things as a creative? We do not just jump on tasks and brief don land. Let me open Photoshop. Let me open Illustrator. Where's my Figma? Where's InDesign? No. There are process that has been established over time to ensure that every creative have a seamless design experience. Please, are we together? If we are together, just react with your favorite emoji. Let me be sure I'm not alone. If the session has been very insightful, please react. Let me be sure I'm not alone. All right, thank you. So what are these process? The first thing is you need to know what you have to work on. So you have to define the problem. You have to understand the brief. What exactly is this project about? Like I used to say to students at Bezalel Design Academy, every project you get invited for is a bid for problem. Your client will come and dump a problem on your table. That's what we call design brief. It is a problem. So you as a designer, you as a creative, you are a problem solver. So we have to look at it from that lens, rather than looking at it from the lens of, oh, make I just put color. Should I use pink? Should I use purple? No, you have to understand the problem first, and then you attack it as a problem solver. Secondly, you have to research. You need to know what had been done, this is not the only brand in the world. So how are other brands, other similar brands, or even their competitors, how are they doing things? You want to know that also. And you will pick inspiration from your research. There's nothing new that you want to do that has not been done before. There's no color you want to use that has not been used before. So humble yourself to go and seek for color inspirations so that you can have a whole lot, enormous color palette options. Okay, this person use blue. How else can I use blue? So you do not have one option. You are not knocked to the end in choosing your color, your font, or whatever it is that you may need to use for that design. So after research, you go ahead to ideate. You start thinking. You start creating. So that's what the ideation means. You start creating solutions. And at this stage, you are encouraged to create as many as possible. This is when you start sketching and then prototyping. So I tell our students, sketch as many options as possible. And one of our students was working on a brand design project. The first task was sketch 15. And then after that 15, he had another series of sketch. Because once you research, the more you are informed, the better your sketch. The more you sketch, the better the sketch. So sketch and sketch and sketch. And thank God for technology, there's also digital sketching tools that we can use now. So after prototyping, you select which of these options really work. So you've sketched, you now need to examine the design solutions you've created vis-a-vis the project objective. What did the client say he wants to achieve? Which of these sketches best align with that objective? Then you can select. After selecting, you go ahead to develop that sketch. So you implement, you deliver, and then you gather feedback. Many designers stop at delivering designs. Please do not just deliver. It's important to gather feedback, and feedback will either be positive or negative. If you've done a good job, to an extent, you should be confident in requesting for feedback. If you've done a very good job, you will know. And if you've done a shabby job, please go and get feedback too, so that you know where to work on. Plus, you must get your sub. All right, so that is it about the creative design process. So today we will see how we can use AI in all of these processes that I had mentioned. So what can AI do for you? Or what can you use AI for, and why does artificial intelligence, why does it matter? As creatives, we go about gisting about how tedious the process could be. We go about saying, oh, it's not easy, I've not slept since yesterday, I've been awake since last year. You know, all of those things. Guys, let's lower our shoulder. Artificial intelligence, it enhances speed and increases productivity. It enhances speed and increases productivity. Let's take a quick flashback to when typists used to use typewriters. Imagine having to type 100 pages using typewriter. And now that you can simply scan a particular document, maybe you did your doodling, you've written some stuff down, you can scan and convert just a picture, you convert it to text. Or now that you have smarter keyboards that as you are typing, it suggests the next word. So which is faster? So artificial intelligence enhances speed and productivity. It expands creative possibilities. Sometimes you do not even expect a particular idea to work. You're like, I'm not sure how this thing will go. But by the time you visualize it, thanks to technology, you would see the possibility and you're like, okay, this thing can actually work, and you explore it. It enables data-driven decisions. So, like I used to say, you know what works before you even give it a shot. You know what works before you give it a shot. It frees time for strategy and artistry. So those are few points as to why artificial intelligence matters. So what can AI do for you? You can use AI for research. We'll do that today. You can use AI to generate mood board for color generation and meaning, color swatches, mock-up generation, and even you can use artificial intelligence as your mentor. Yes, you can use it as a mentor. You can use it to critique and also suggest possible ways to improve your design. However, I'm not a fan of removing human beings from everything we do. So if you have a mentor close to you, please honor them, reach out, and be a part of whatever it is they do. It's just like saying, oh, because I can now get drugs to whatever it is that's wrong with me at any point in time using ChatGPT, I don't need a doctor again. That would be a wrong thing to do. So do not try that at all. All right. So I strongly believe that we've created a good premise for workshop. I strongly believe that we've created a good premise for today's workshop. But then to add that is to say, innovation begins when technology and humanity work together. Innovation begins when technology and humanity work together. Human and technology should not compete. I'm sure we understand that human and technology should not compete at all. We should not compete, but rather we should leverage on technology. And as creative, the nature of design process is seamless more when we leverage on technology. You can imagine if you have sketched, you have prototyped, you have designed any of these design softwares, and then you realize that something is not going to work. I mean, you've followed through from stage 1 to stage 7 before you realize that, oh, this is a bad concept, it's not going to be a bad one, right? But now, thanks to technology, using AI, the iterative nature of design is very much seamless. It reduces waste, it reduces time spent, energy spent, it reduces resources consumed. So now you spend less to achieve more. Spend less to achieve more. As we go straight now into the workshop, let us know that artificial intelligence is a creative partner, not a replacement. Artificial intelligence is a creative partner, not a replacement. And in fact, this AI that we're talking about, it builds from data, patterns, and context, like I mentioned earlier. AI is a co-creator, it is not a threat. So now I would need our feedback. Just one person to share whatever it is that you learned so far or that stood out for you, then we'll go straight into the workshop. I'm sure someone is like, guy, leave this talk. Let's practicalize this thing. Yeah, we're doing that. So let's have a feedback. Just one person to share whatever it is that stood out or how it has been. What are you expecting? What next after all of this introduction? All right, the fact that I can use AI as a mentor. Okay, so let me share my screen. Let's go straight into what we have for today. So this is Chat GPT. This is Chat GPT. And the first thing we want to do is to generate carousel designs. We all know what a carousel is. When we go on Instagram, we see some square posts or portrait posts that we can swipe. Those are carousel designs. So we want to generate carousel designs from a 2 to 3 page document. So let's go. Remember our prompting technique. So we have the task, the persona, that's the character. We have format, context, and reference, if any at all. Attention to the screen. We can try it out. So let's do this together. As a senior creative designer with years of experience in content strategy, examine the article below and provide excerpts for Instagram carousel design. Provide design style guides, elements to include for each of the slides. Suggest color and why. So let's check our prompts. Let's examine it vis-a-vis the prompting technique. What's the task? To summarize the article and provide excerpts for Instagram carousel design. So we have the task. Do we have the persona, the character? The character is there, a senior creative designer with years of experience in content strategy. Do we have the format? Yes, so the format says provide excerpt, yes, and then elements to include elements rather. Provide the style guide, elements to include each of the slides. So once ChatGPT provide the excerpts, it's going to be as slide 1, slide 2, slide 3, slide 4. And for each of those slides, we've asked that it provides elements to include in the design for each of those slides, and also to suggest color and why. Why did I include suggest color and why? In quote, and why? It's just for us to learn. We'll know why is it suggesting this color. I mean, a rule for me is you teach people how to learn rather than spoon feed, right? So now we don't want ChatGPT to just give us color to use. We want to know why it's suggesting that color, so that in case of another time, we would have informed, we would leverage on the information we have now to act. So that is it. References, we do not have any, but let's add that also. We can also add the target audience. All right, so that's the prompt. Now we can attach. Once you click on this, you can attach the article, or you simply copy and paste it under. Remember, I said examine the article below, so I'll just go ahead to paste the article. So that's the first activity. Let's wait for the response. So you can see the title is the laziest way to learn as a creative enthusiast. The total number of slides recommended should be 8 to 9. And the design direction, the layout, both typography, center aligned, use expressive contrast between laziest, that's we should italicize laziest handwritten font, and the rest sans serif. So it has also suggested font typeface to use. Then the visual. Visuals a creative character reclining on a chair with sketchpad or laptop, vibrant, humorous, and relatable. So let me copy this. Okay, we'll come back to it. I wanted to use this same line to generate that image. So other elements we had include abstract squiggles, light doodles, and on, slide 2. So we could see without the headache of how do I create content from this article? I don't know the slides that I have to create, the number of slides, what and what should I use? I mean, it was not written to be carousel designs and all of that. And we have that. So slide 7, stop comparing your progress. Your creative journey is yours. Enjoy the process. Design direction, calm, minimal, use soothing tones. So the color that fits the tone is light blue, lavender gradients, include a coat bubble. Growth takes time, stay patient. You get, so these are color suggestions. Vibrant orange, primary accent. So reason represents creativity, warmth, enthusiasm. Another color, midnight blue, base background, provides, all of those things, design elements, aesthetics, and all. It says, would you like me to prepare the actual text layout and caption? If you can go ahead and try that, we would not have so much time, we would have done that. So that's one. The next thing we have to do now, let's try and generate some images we can use for this carousel design. So for Gemini can also generate image, but Nano Banana does it better. However, would use the two. So I'd copy that line of the recommended image. I'll paste it and ask that ChatGPT generates the image for us. So we'd say generate a creative character reclining. This character, so it could be confusing, so you can say a creative designer. Although if we use character, it could also be cartoon like anyway, reclining on a chair with sketch pad and all of that. So now we have to add more context to it. Let's describe the office. So I was going to add a few guests. I just had a few other things. Then I remember that because of the applicability, where we want to use the image, it's going to become more complex when there are too many elements. So that's why I'm deleting this, meaning that you have to pay attention, bear in mind where you want to use the result. So at the end of the day, it does not generate a particular image that will not be able to use. So let's just stop here. Let me copy this. So while we are waiting for ChatGPT to provide its response, let's go to Gemini. So for Gemini, would use Nano Banana. Nano Banana is one of Gemini's gem. So this is Nano Banana. We'll select create image. Then we'll paste the prompt, press send. Just do well to pay attention to the prompting technique that was shared earlier. Once you get the prompts right, your result is going to be fantastic. So this is what we have from Gemini. Very funny, right? Brain at rest mode. Okay, so let's check. ChatGPT is not done. Let's tweak the prompt to have something interesting, something we can use. So this time around, we'll keep the prompts very simple, very basic. So this looks better. We can work with it. So that is that on image generation. Pay attention to the prompts. Keep it simple. Provide context to it, and you will get a better result. So let's go up next to use AI for research. So now we'll go back to ChatGPT. Okay, before we continue, let's look at the image generated for us by ChatGPT. So that is what we have from ChatGPT. Interesting. So one ChatGPT's response looks cartoon-like, whereas Gemini Nano Banana's response also looks cartoon-like, but is more expressive, is more modern. Or let me hear from us, Mr. James. What do you think comparing the two results?
Okay, can I see Gemini again?
Okay, let me get that. So this is Gemini.
Yeah, I think Gemini looks more modern and is like actual figure than the one ChatGPT gave. So I still prefer this Nano Banana.
Yeah, exactly. This is a first response. So it looks more real, more modern, and then just good to go with. Except when you're looking for maybe your design style, you want to adopt cartoon-like and all of that. So again, based on the preference, based on your style. So that is that. The next thing we want to do, we'll use AI in a brand design process. That's in a visual identity design or brand identity design process. Provide. So now we only know that we want to work with a fashion brand. We do not have a name. We do not have brand story. We don't have any detail about them, right? So let's generate a brand story first. Then we'll pick it up from there. Let's just say it's a global brand. All right. So let's see what we have. So this is the brand details that we have for high fashion culture, right? So the tagline, where your story, global style. And one thing I do is I do not stick with a single option because I want to use AI to learn, not a garbage in, garbage out. Remember, I mentioned earlier that I do not use outsource your brain to AI, but rather use AI as your assistant. So in using AI as my assistant, what I do is I allow it generate a wide scope of information so that by the time I read, I become well informed. I have a pool of ideas to pick from. So that is one way to not outsource your brain to artificial intelligence. So now that we have this, what is the next thing to do? We want to research similar brands, competitor analysis, and all that before we go ahead to sketch. So let's ask to provide similar brands, a list of the 1% of the yeah. So let's know them, then we can go ahead to visit their page and all that. So, already, so see it, we have links. So we have Prada, we have Valentino, we have Gucci, we have Dior, we have Chanel, and all that. So let's visit their page. We can simply click, but all of these things, these links may not give us what we want. I can see Wikipedia, so let's use the next prompt to ask for what we want directly. Provide links to flyer design. Why flyer design? On their flyer, we'll see their logo, we'll see their color, we'll see the kind of typography they use. So after that, we can go ahead to sketch. After sketching, we prototype. So that is it. This is Louis Vuitton. You can see that. So if we do not use AI to do this, you can imagine how long, how many hours it's going to take to see just one design. When you use Google, if you don't deep go inside, you will not see top stuff. You will not see what you're even looking for. So thanks to AI, we can use AI to go deep and go and look for what we want. All right. So now let's say, with your knowledge. Already we have a personality that is responding to us. We have a character, someone who is a brand identity designer with exceptional years of experience and all that. So with your knowledge of high fashion, that's the name of the brand. With your knowledge of high fashion cultures, competitors, logo. So again, context. What do we want the logo to look like? The logo should be timeless, modern and minimalistic, should be geometrical and highly classy. I mean, you just describe an on and on, just whatever it is that you want. So let's go. We also have another AI that is most tailored to brand identity design. We have logo arts and many others like that. That's 10 options. Now let's request for images, recommended colors. Would you like me to visualize 3 to 5 of these? So let me copy the prompt first so I can use the same prompt in Gemini. Generate. Are we still together? Okay, so I use the word suggest. Now we'll change it to generate. So that is it. Let's wait for the response. So for Gemini, we'll have to prep Gemini 2. We'll have to do the same thing we have done, get the brand strategy, which was the first thing we did. We'll provide the strategy. After that, we'll now request that it generates logo concepts. You have everything about the brand, the color, the typeface, why you should use that. So instead of copying the whole brand story, what I've done is just to simply copy the concepts. Concept generated using ChatGPT. All right, so we have the concepts. Our prompt now would be as an expert brand identity designer, the directions for each of the. So why this is important is we're saying, guy, we don't need your idea here. We don't need your suggestion. So for each of the design ideas, stick with it. For the concept, stick with each of them. Do not add or remove anything at all. So we have for number 2. And if you look at each of these concepts and the prompts, you will see the relatability. So let's just pick another one. Let's pick number 5. So after doing all of this, it's not possible that the designer will not come up with something outstanding. First, you have the 5 top brands to look at their logo, and now we have another 10 possible ways of designing this logo. So what again? So take for instance, look at this. The concept is purely typographic word mark, and that's exactly what we have. Word mark. Let's look for something more interesting. Okay, so let's go with number 6, the culture signature. High fashion in a fluid modern script paired with culture. I will try and hurry so that we can round up the workshop in the next 5 minutes, take questions and feedback, then we'll close hopefully latest by 5:30. And at another time, we will get we'll get to complete the process. So the next thing we'll do is just to generate concepts for a flyer design, still for high fashion culture. So this is the script font in a fluid paired. So you see the power of prompts. It's garbage in, garbage out. What you put is what you get. Now let's critique. Let's use AI as design mentor. Let's go back and upload a particular design. So we'll ask AI to critique the flyer design for this webinar. Don't forget character. You need to provide a persona, a personality, a person behind the scene that you want to respond to you. So this time we'll be using as a design mentor. Critique this flyer design and suggest possible ways to improve. Okay, so like a mentor would always do, every mentor who has high emotional intelligence. So we have the accolades first. I mean, oh, the design is nice, well done, you know. So overall impression, the flyer has a clear purpose and includes unnecessary information. Color palette is decent. The use of photos for speaker is a good personal touch. I mean, all of that, all of that. So critique, hierarchy and information flow. Says the hierarchy is somewhat flat, while the main title isn't as dominant as it should be. So for a crucial piece of information, the date and time. So let's take this suggestion. Suggestion, the main title, keep unlock your creative potential prominent, but consider making using AI in the creative design process the most dominant element. Perhaps bolder or with a slightly different typography treatment. Then date time platform, integrate these elements more cohesively instead of separate bubbles, maybe align them and all. Then call to action, join our community participate is a bit passive. The enroll now, phone, join our community, that's the footer section at the bottom, are also competing for attention. So it just breaks it down like that. Then you sit with it and you get to make the design better. Actionable steps, refine hierarchy, integrate date and time, modernize speaker visuals, experiment with different framing. So let's ask that it suggests different framing. Suggest modern frame designs for the speakers. Oops, my bad. I was supposed to use generate or visualize. Suggest is just going to provide generic text for you. Let's see, visualize the modern frames. So AI just takes away the excuse of, oh, I don't have this, that's why I'm not learning. I don't have a mentor. I don't have access to resources, or I do not have so much information. That's why I came up with this design. I mean, it takes all of that away. So this is the suggestion. You can see what it's simply saying that unlock your creative potential should be less dominant while the topic is more dominant, and on and on. So please, someone should remind me that we want to tweak uh, image, want to change color or maybe change the face, something like that. Visualize this speaker's frame concept. So for this is saying ghost frame or transparent overlay, and you can see. So you can keep exploring, exploring, and exploring. So let me get an image we can use to just tweak the image, the shades color, and maybe we say to put the person in another type of dress. Change the color dress to orange. Stamping. So that's simply the power of artificial intelligence and how we can utilize it in the design process. Mr. James, just after this image, I would have to draw the curtain for today. So there you go. We have the orange version without having to pay another photographer. So thank you for staying with us at Bezalel Design Academy. I strongly believe we've had a good time of learning. We've learned something really interesting today. So that will be all for today's session on learning how to use artificial intelligence in a creative design process. Thank you for sticking with us. Mr. James, you have the floor.
All right, thank you very much for that amazing session. I must say, me myself, I've learned a whole lot. And okay, just before we close it finally, I don't know, is there anyone that has maybe a question or um anything? Can just unmute your mic, or you can paste it in the chat section. Maybe you like to ask a question, you need clarification on certain things, so you can do that now. Okay, so our time is fast spent. I would not really be able to leave the window open for long. So if you have a question, you can do also always drop it on our community group, and we promise to provide swift answers to that. So once again, I want to appreciate our guest speaker for this session. Thank you very much for taking our time to walk us through these things. And I think by now I'm more convinced that AI is not a threat; it is a companion that can help, make our work better, like in different ways, no matter the industry, no matter where we're working. So thank you very much, Mr. Anu, for that amazing session. And also, thank you very much, everyone, for staying on to this moment. Would soon be done. And so before we close, I just like to just make a few announcements. Okay, so like I mentioned in the beginning, this is Bezalel Design Academy, and we run a graphics design academy. So you can check out our website at bezaleldesign.org to access our courses and also get more info as to the academy. Also, we have a design community where we share resources, we talk about design, and believe me, as a creative, it's a great place to be. So the link will be sent to the chat section. Sorry, you can see the link on the screen. So I just do well to do that, and you'll be able to join the community. So if you are not on our community yet, do well to click on the link, and then you'll be able to join. Also, maybe during the session, due to one reason or the other, you're unable to keep up with certain things. This is a recorded session, and it will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. So you can check out our YouTube channel. Bezalel Design Academy, and do well to follow, do well to subscribe. Also, the previous episodes of the Unlocking Your Creative Potential and other programs, other webinars that we've had, you can also find them on the channel. So check it out, subscribe so that you can get notifications when we drop other content and all those things. And then don't forget to check out our website. We have a whole lot of things. We have a whole lot of goodies. We have an agency that we run. There's the academy. So you know what? Don't let me say it all. Just go to the website and check it out for yourself. So once again, thank you very much everyone for staying up to this moment. We love and we celebrate you. Before we close, can we just have a word of prayer? Lord, we thank you for this amazing session, to be exalted. Lord, we ask that all that we've learned, that you grant us the wisdom to put them to use, and that even as we're putting them to use, that you guide and that you direct us. Thank you, Father, because you've answered our prayer. For in Jesus' mighty name, we prayed. Amen. So thank you very much, everyone, once again. See you on the next episode. Bye bye.